This is Will Ladnier. He's a world traveler, a boat expert and restorationist, and most importantly, a loving single father to 2 girls.
They're little boo-boo babies.
Okay, Dad, stop.
Nope. Never stopping.
I think that Will is someone who can teach us a lot about what it means to be a man in this day and age. And in this video, I'm headed to the Deep South, Biloxi, Mississippi to be exact, to share his story and show how Will's life embodies a balanced, nuanced example of modern masculinity. I connected with Will through Couchsurfing, an online social network for travelers. Now, if you've ever used Couchsurfing to travel before, you know that you often meet some of the most interesting people the world has to offer. After all, it takes a unique level of open-mindedness and kindness to let a complete stranger into your home. For Will, those 2 traits come in high supply. In fact, spend a little time with him around Biloxi and you'll notice he seems to know just about everybody.
So tell me when you guys all met each other.
Family. Yeah. So.
A long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Just kind of grown up here.
Right. Right.
He's the guy behind the scenes that does stuff that he just makes things happen, and people don't know it.
How did your dad know all these people?
He's really good at networking.
Yeah.
Like, as far as I know, like, as soon as he got his driver's license, he was out and about, and he'd buy boats, fix them up, sell them, and then he was driving that boat, that naval vessel, for the military for that research program.
My dad was the captain of our state's biggest research vessel, and then as soon as I got to be around 6 years old, I would go out with him a lot and spend the summers at sea with him, doing all types of research and monitoring of the Gulf for the state of Mississippi. It was as close as you could get to having Jacques Cousteau for a father, and we made a lot of friends and did a lot of tasks, and then later I had the opportunity to captain a oceanographic vessel for the Navy.
Will is an expert when it comes to boats, and it should come as no surprise that he's turned that expertise into a unique career removing and cleaning up shipwrecked vessels along the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Would you say you have a passion for this? Is it something that you developed over time through the work you've been doing?
Oh, for sure. Yes, it's really fun. It feels good when you see this big, ugly, nasty mess up in an otherwise beautiful, pristine wetland or marsh, and you get to be the person that can refloat it after it's been there for oftentimes decades or at least a couple years or more. It's really cool. Then when you turn it into an artificial reef and you have the video footage of thousands of fish and know that those fish are helping our environment, keeping the species healthy, and feeding our country, keeping the United States strong and independent, helping our economy. It feels great to me.
One of his biggest projects to date, a nearly 150-foot tugboat that'll be cleaned, then sunk to serve as the Gulf's newest artificial reef.
This is our friend Jonathan from out around Napa Valley, and he's doing a little documentary.
Hello.
Oh, and by the way, it just happens to have the world's biggest cockroach welded on top of it too.
There's the world's largest cockroach. You should let me hold the camera and you go get up there with it. Go give that cockroach a kiss.
I can actually do that.
Yeah, got to do it.
Got me on camera here?
I got you.
Give it a kiss.
Aw, that's true love.
It's what I've been searching for my whole life, Will.
That's right. This area of the tugboat here will be filled with thousands of fish. Red snapper, triggerfish, grouper. It'll be a condominium for fish once it's all environmentally cleaned.
Right.
This was the engine room. We removed the engines.
So then what's the process of cleaning up the place and making sure that it's ready to be put in the ocean?
primarily removing anything that could remotely be considered contaminants, even something as simple as the rubber on wiring. So we remove every single bit of wiring, every single bit of oil, every single bit of fuel, and then even clean the tanks, and much more than that also. Any wood, any insulation.
Okay.
You know, what I see here is ugly, it's messy, it's dirty. And one part of me doesn't really like being associated with that, but I remind myself it's my job to take it out. And I have to be sort of the foster parent of that mess until it can be all properly cleaned up. But then in the end, it all pays off, you know, and it feels good to be the one to have removed this mess from the environment, remove the mess from the economy, and turn it into something good.
Yeah, it's like you have to deal with like the short-term consequences of things, but then long-term, I mean, this is just going to be so good for the region and the environment.
That's
after
right.
It's all cleaned up.
That's right, yes. Yeah, there's two ways to recycle, and one is recycling all of the metals and wires, repurposing anything possible. The other is to turn it into habitat.
Right.
Yep. All the wood material and construction material, insulation goes into a big roll-off container there and goes to a certified landfill.
So this in that pink container right there.
That's right. So this is an example of the messes that we remove from the environment. You know, they're abandoned here, and that one was out in deeper water, so we just set it here temporarily, and now we'll pump it out, move it to my facility, clean it up, and then make the decision to take it out to sea or recycle it.
Can that be restored at all, or no? Is it already just completely...
No, it's not worth it. Could it be? Yes. Is it financially viable? No.
Now, when I said that Will was also a world traveler, you might have assumed he did so when he was younger and didn't have kids. But the truth is, he's visited close to 40 countries as a single dad, traveling with his two girls.
Okay, we're here near the top of Mount Sinai at a little rest shack. And I have Juliana here, and Aubrey is right here. There she is. It's her birthday, 11th birthday. For her birthday, we're climbing to the top of Mount Sinai, where Moses got the 10 Commandments. And this is a really cool rest shack near the top. The girls want to introduce.
This is our guide. He's taking us to the top of the mountain.
Yes, and his name is... Abraham. Aubrey?
This is our camel guide.
Huh?
That represents all the land.
Muhammad. Yes. All right. What do you think about this for 11th birthday?
Good.
Is that it? Just good? Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite part of traveling?
Meeting people
Yeah.
and the food.
Yeah. The food and the people.
Yes. I have 3 top favorite. I can't pick between them.
Yeah.
Australia, Spain, and Jordan.
Why those 3?
Australia was really cool because everyone was so nice, and the same is true of Jordan. Australia, we also got to meet the Irwins.
Oh, yeah. I think I saw that photo. You met Bindi Irwin, right?
Yes, we met Bindi, Terry, and Robert. And then Jordan, we had the best taxi driver. He bought us tea and ice cream.
Oh, really?
Twice.
Really?
So he called him back the next day, and he was our driver again.
Awesome.
So he was a lot of fun. Super nice. Dad still keeps in touch with him. And then Spain, the food and the ice cream. And we visited our exchange student. And we hiked the Camino de Santiago.
Oh,
the
wow.
hiking trail.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Aubrey's stamping her Camino passport. Aubrey is about to try octopus at the most famous octopus place on earth. And here she is. Do it, Aubrey. Go, 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 go.
What about this kind of experience where you're having someone like me hosting some guy from another part of the US coming through? You guys sounds like you have quite a lot of visitors coming through, so even if you're not traveling, you're still getting to experience the road when people like myself come in. How do you think those experiences have impacted you as a person?
You definitely learn a lot from it.
Yeah?
Uh-huh. They're always trying to teach you life lessons.
Alrighty, we got Juliana here, hard at work peeling the garlic. Will is taking care of that extra oil.
Yep, getting the pot ready.
I've already got some rice here on the stove.
Got all the meat there, cut and prepped to go.
What do you think?
Good.
I can send you the recipe.
It's gonna be good. Like, it smells good. It tastes good.
First time having pork and chicken adobo.
Nice. Fantastic, Jonathan. Thank you.
No problem. I'm wondering what travel has taught you about being a father and how it's made you a better father.
It gives me confidence. It makes me really proud, happy, grateful, fulfilled to have achieved getting my girls to 35 countries. I love studying the dynamic of traveling with the girls. You're trusted more, you're respected more. It opens doors, and I appreciated that. And the girls and I capitalized on that. And we reciprocated the people who were good to us, because I was a dad traveling with kids and it was something different that they weren't used to, and it brought a little attention, or people wanted to help or figure out how it worked that we were doing this. We loved giving back to those people. We loved helping them with maybe they had little broken things, like helping with your battery. Anything that they needed around the house, we would help do, because I can fix a lot of things. So we'd real intent on giving back equally to anybody who helped us along the way, and making sure they know that they can come here and stay with us. I don't know, gosh, there's a whole world of things to talk about, and it did teach me a lot. All right, making some mint tea and soup with our Sherpa friends that we were hiking. Mint tea, there's my mint tea. Julianne and Aubrey took the one with more mint. We need to trade. Okay.
First come, first serve.
Okay, we're in an epic view out here.
Yes! Yeah! Yeah! Thank you!
There comes Julianne and Aubrey in the Olympic track. They're racing the Olympic course. Almost done. They made it all the way around. There they go. Woo! Awesome. The original Olympic theater.
Is there any one lesson that stands out above all of them?
Do not wait to travel with your kids. Please. Please. Now, if you don't enjoy it, you don't like it, you're not comfortable, okay, maybe not a good idea. But if this is something that you want to do, and you're making excuses, even if they're really legitimate excuses, conquer those things preventing you from going. One of the biggest ones, thinking that you need to wait till your kids are old enough to remember this grand, expensive, which it doesn't need to be, but you think it's expensive thing that you want to do. No. Oh my gosh, it does not work that way. A child's mind does not work that way. That mind is developing. They don't need to remember that trip at all. Here's what does happen. if you're enjoying it, if you're happy, if you're living your dream, your mind is bathed in joy and excitement, in learning, in discovering. Your child experiences that through you, with you. They see you happy. They see you going, whoa, look at that mountain. Or having a fun conversation with this person. They're picking up on all of that. Their mind is moving and seeing all different things, all different colors, all different sounds. And they are learning so much, you would not believe it. If you're staying in your house, having a good time, that's great. It's great. There's nothing wrong with it. But it's repetitive. Much of each day is repetitive. What they're seeing, what they're experiencing. You get out of that, you break that monotony, and get out in the world, it's magic.
Looking good off. Look at her go. Woo! Nice. Yeah.
As you could probably tell by now, Will has designed a life that's full of joy, purpose, and plenty of stories to tell. But that doesn't mean he hasn't faced his fair share of hardships too. Hardships that have made him the man he is today.
Where we're driving through now, that's the remains of a house that Katrina washed away. That's what all the houses looked like. Where we're entering now is the worst of the worst for Hurricane Katrina impact. This area right here, North Biloxi, St. Martin area, Langley Point, was one of the hardest hit. Every single one of these houses are new, and there's not many, but every one you see is new. This was an old community packed with homes, and every single one of them didn't have one piece sticking up. Beautiful homes, modest homes, every home was gone. And our home was here. 3 family homes on this land.
So where were you at the time when this storm hit? Where were you taking shelter? You were on a boat.
Rode the whole Hurricane Katrina on a boat.
Wow.
Yep. It was violent. It was carnage. Not for us, but for everybody around us. Because the boat that I had at that time was big enough that it could handle the storm fine. We were safe in there. The problem is the storm came up so high that everything we were tied to was going underwater, and it was breaking lines, breaking cables, pulling everything off the top. And I had taken extreme measures and just went ridiculous overkill to secure the boat before the storm. Things like, if this is the big giant pile, it was a 36-inch steel caisson that the ship was tied to, and there were 3 of them. This is the ship here, tied up to it, and there's 3 steel caissons. I knew that the storm would rise like this, coming up, 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 to make sure the rope wouldn't slip off the top, which that's never going to happen. Mm-hmm. This post was so high. I stuck a steel pipe, a heavy steel pipe, through the top. There was a hole here and a hole here. The steel went through. That way, if it did go up too high, the rope couldn't come off the top. I don't think you can see it. No, you just can't see it. But Louisiana sticks out like this. I'm going to exaggerate it. Out into the Gulf of Mexico like this. The hurricane spins like this as it comes in, and it stacks up all the water. It's pushing water this way, the wind and the current. And so here we get the tidal surge, and it can't spill off fast enough, so it stacks up in between Louisiana and Mississippi. Alabama's safe. The further you go that way, the less tidal surge you get. All of this is relatively safe. Mm-hmm. Texas, relatively safe. You can have wind damage, But tidal surge is many times worse than wind damage. There's no earthly comparison. Everybody knows that. I was swimming. I had to leave the controls a few different times and jump in the water during Katrina and swim lines to the shoreline and try to hook to light poles and things like that were up on land. It was awful. And you feel sick to your stomach, because I knew I'm responsible for that vessel and it's my livelihood in there. And if we broke loose, we would have killed a lot of people. And the people knew that. It was a terrible situation. And we managed to stay there and keep that boat there through a lifetime of experience of growing up on boats and riding out every single hurricane of my life on boats. But this hurricane, all the other ones are kind of like, they're fun. They were fun. They were adventure. This one wasn't. It was totally different. You can imagine this house here is way up in the air on pylons. Mm-hmm. And the water was this deep in this house. It was over the top of the counters here. Did I show you that? These counters were gone. These are new counters, but there was mud
all over
the original counters that used to be here. Were covered in mud. But it didn't, they had a toaster here on the counter, the family that was here, and it didn't get in the toaster. So it was just a thin layer above the counter.
So the water would have been like right here.
That's right.
At my waistline, basically.
And we're on the second story.
Yes.
Why do you think there wasn't as much national coverage of what was going on here from Katrina? Because like you said, and even for me watching it from afar on the news, the narrative around it was centered around New Orleans.
That's fair. There's nothing wrong with that. People want stories that they can relate to. Millions of Americans can relate to or identify with New Orleans, including the newscasters. They can relate to. It's just more familiar. You're talking about what's comfortable, what's familiar, what you can relate. And so that's what happened. And that's going to always happen in society.
In spite of the challenges he's faced, Will doesn't let anger, resentment, or bitterness get the best of him. Instead, what you'll find is a man who carries himself with an unwavering sense of optimism, gratitude, and grit.
What would you say are the factors that contributes to your family's happiness?
It's attitude for sure. Keeping a good attitude. You really, really want to live in a way that you know your neighbors and get along. And sometimes it can be hard work, but it can be an investment. The investment is maybe you sometimes having to swallow a little pride or not get what you want. If you can subdue all of that and not forget to find the good or help people bring out the best in themselves. You could take what would normally be a bad situation and help it to be a situation that's happy and productive, joyful. That's what you have to do in life to be happy.
What have you learned most from your dad about living a good life?
He's always going. He never stops. Very rarely. When he does, he's usually worn out. It's like a good day to take a break, but that doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
So mainly just live life to the fullest, make the most of every day.
I think we should live our lives each day thinking about how our funeral is going to be in a positive way. A celebration of life and being able to fill up a church with people that love you and respect you, and you're inspiring any not so good people who come there and they listen to the eulogy, and it might cause them to be a better person, and people who are already good are inspired to continue being good. They realize they're on the right track. We all make a difference.